All right, so we're going to look at something called function composition. This is a function composition. So what that means is I have two functions here in this problem, f of x and g of x, and they both do different things. They have different rules. If I am trying to do something like this, right, that problem right there, the way that we would say that problem is g of f of 5. G of f of 5. So you can kind of see in this function notation that we're basically stacking a couple functions with each other. The thing that we have to realize here is that the innermost parentheses, so this right here, the innermost parentheses is going to be our input, right? So 5 is going to be our input, and we're going to take that input and we're going to plug it into the function to the left of it. So we're basically trying to figure out what is f of 5? What if I take 5 and plug it into f? And we're going to ignore this g right now because we're not there yet. We're going to work from the innermost parentheses and then work our way out. So first I'm going to figure out what f of 5 is. So we look at our f of x, which is 3x minus 4. So I'm going to take that 3x minus 4 and 3x minus 4. In this case, 5 is my x, so I'm going to plug in 5 into that function. And 3 times 5 minus 4, well, that would be 15 minus 4, or 11. Right? So f of 5 is equal to 11, or evaluates to 11. So then what we do is we're going to take that and leave it in this spot, right? So instead of g of f of 5, we already know that f of 5 is equal to 11. So now we're going to figure out, well, let's keep working this problem out. Now let's figure out what g of 11 is, because we already figured out that innermost portion. So what is g of 11? Right? So now we look at our function g, and the function g is taking whatever our input is, x, squaring it, and then subtracting 1. Right? So it's saying x squared minus 1. In this case, we know our input is 11, so I'm going to plug in 11 squared minus 1, which is in total 121 minus 1, which is 120. So this problem would actually just give us an answer of 120. All right, let's try another one. So let's try this one over here. So this is f of g of negative 3. It's a function composition because we're taking two functions and we're putting them together, right? And it actually means that all the inputs that are going to go inside of f, this function f, are going to be outputs of whatever the function g is. Right? So you're taking these two functions and you're really connecting them together. So the input of one of them is the output of another function. Right? So again, the way that we work this though is we take it from the innermost parentheses and we work our way out. In this case, we know exactly what the input is. We're starting with an input of negative 3. So we're going to take negative 3 and we're going to plug it in for g. We're going to figure out what g of negative 3 is. So g of x is x squared minus 1. So this is going to be x squared minus 1. But I know my input is negative 3. So negative 3 squared minus 1. So that means that g of negative 3 would be 9 minus 1, or 8. Right? So g of negative 3 is 8 total. So since this portion right here is 8, then let's just go ahead and write that. Now we're going to try to figure out what is f of 8. So then we just keep going. So now I have the output of g of negative 3, that output now just became the new input for the function f. And I just keep working the problem. So what is f of 8? Well, the function f is 3x minus 4. So 3 times 8 minus 4. So in this case, 24 minus 4. So 24 minus 4 is 20. And our final answer would be 20. So f of g of negative 3 is equal to 20. All right, so if you want to pause the video and just try these next two, f of 2, and this longer one, g of f of 1, you can go ahead and try that, and I'll give you the answers. So this f of 2, if you did it, is just 2. In fact, it would always be 2 if you kept doing it. It's kind of like a loop. And then the second one, g of f of 1, ends up being 15.